Matt Freeman with Adventures Northwest. Today's video is a little different. We're not motorcycle camping on the BMW or backcountry flying or even bow hunting for big game. Nope, today's video is all about Oregon Pinot Noir, and especially Oregon's Torii More, which is one of the older vineyards and is a pioneer up in the Dundee Hills. My brother Matt is the national sales manager for Torii More, and he's invited me to come out and take a tour of the facilities and the vineyards. So having been an old vineyard guy myself, I couldn't pass it up. So looking forward to spending some time with my brother Matt and Torii More. Cheers. Torii More is located in the Dundee Hills of Oregon. Dr. Olson planted his first block of Pinot Noir in 1972 and opened the winery in 1993. His goal was to produce a handcrafted wine made in the French style. If you ask a French winemaker how to make a great bottle of wine, they will tell you it's all about the terroir. You simply can't make great wine without great grapes, and you can't grow great grapes without a great terroir. Translated from Japanese, Torii means gate and More means earth, gate to the earth. Dr. Olson has beautifully blended traditional winemaking and Japanese culture with Oregon's world-famous Dundee Hills. This blend of culture is experienced as you drive up to the tasting room. The Japanese garden welcomes you to a tranquil setting and is followed through with the decor in the tasting room. The tasting room is located adjacent to the vineyards. It's just hard to imagine a better day than enjoying a bottle of Oregon's finest Pinot Noir on the deck, overlooking the vineyard and the Willamette Valley. Well, I'm here with my brother Matt, and we spent about an hour and a half just wandering around the facilities, ran into the owner, Don. The guy's 85 years old, and he has so much passion, energy, and you think he's about 55 running around trying to grow the vineyard and the winery and just the whole 9 yards. Got a ton of passion for it. So Matt, thanks for having me
Absolutely,
out. This is awesome, yeah. And thanks for the glass of wine.
Yeah, this is the 2019 Olson estate.
Wow, okay. Well, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, it comes from the vineyard right back behind us here.
All right.
Behind the camera. It was planted in 1972 using cuttings from Dickie Rath, Charles Corey, David Lett.
Yep.
Kind of the fathers of the wine industry here.
Yep, legends on the Dundee Hills, that's for sure.
Yeah, so it's one of the oldest vineyards. We're getting ready to harvest here real quick.
I know in talking to Don, he's really into making wine the old-fashioned way. Mm-hmm. Very Burgundian, very French. He talks about the seven steps or 7 variations in that process. So I think I'm interested in tasting these, and I've had obviously some of your Torii More. It's excellent wine. You're currently on your 3rd winemaker, which is, right, for as old as the vineyard and the winery is really unique. You don't see that kind of continuity vineyard, vintage after vintage after vintage.
Don the McDaniel family planted this in 72. He bought it in the mid 80s, and they built this house, and so he moved into that. And it was just, they were selling grapes up
Right.
until 93, in which we had Patricia Green as our first winemaker.
Legend.
And then in 2001 or 2, Jacques Tardy came on,
Right.
8th generation Burgundian winemaker, and really set the style that we do, which is old world
Right.
Burgundian style wine.
Yep.
Lighter alcohol, really feminine in its quality.
Yep.
And then he just retired, and John Tomasselli, who's been with him since 2006, he's taken over. This will be his second vintage,
Great.
so he's very intent on getting things right.
Okay.
So,
Well, we're going to go down and visit him a little bit later on. There, I could see them moving grapes into the crush facility
Yep.
and starting that process. So, for those of you who've never experienced crush, it's organized chaos at its finest. It is go, 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 and then everything stops, and then you repeat the next day. And it's so good. It's a younger guy's game, is all I can say for everybody.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We were talking off camera about some of the vintages and some of the wines you're releasing, you're getting ready to bottle. If you got to rank, kind of go through your top 2 or 3 wines, why don't you tell me a little bit about each one of them?
Sure. My personal favorite of the whites is the Chardonnay. It's really good. It's also almost Chablis-esque. It's got a little bit of new oak, but most of it's neutral. Really nice. It's not a big butter bomb. It's not a big oak bomb. Somebody said it's the Goldilocks. It's not too much and not too little.
Just perfect.
Just perfect.
Yeah.
In the whites, I really like that one.
And what year is that?
The 2019. is
2019,
one. I haven't
yeah.
even tasted the 2020
Yeah,
yet.
there you
so,
go. Okay. Current vintage. Yeah.
But it's very consistent. It's that French style. And then probably the Olson Estate is my favorite. I kind of bounce between that and the Dundee Hills.
Yeah.
Olson Estate is really refined. Dundee Hills is a little bit more aggressive.
Yep.
In its profile. So those are kind of my favorites. I really like those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to finish up here having a glass of wine, and then we're going to head down to the winery and bug John Thomas.
Tomasselli.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, just see if we can't get that away from the chaos for a second to spend a couple minutes with us and walk through. So we'll catch you a little bit later down at the winery.
Cheers.
Yep, there you go. It's the middle of February on a beautiful sunny day, about 35 degrees, but I'm here at Torii More and they're bottling their 2022 Pinot Gris. I was in the winery as they were going through bottling, and you could just smell the citrus. That is just a key signature of a great Pinot Gris. So I'm really looking forward to tasting a bottle once it goes through their the bottle shock and ages out for 4 or 5 months. But I also wanted to show you the vineyard behind me. It's been pruned, pulled, and tied, which is the first step in the life cycle of a vineyard. And believe it or not, in about 90 days you should have bud break back here, and they'll just start that process of nurturing that vineyard for another cycle as it goes through from this stage to full canopy, and then to just those beautiful grapes that they pull in hopefully the first part of October. So a little bit more as we go down and watch the bottling. Well, I'm here with John Tomasselli, who this has been a hard one to get him to stand still. So John not only manages the vineyard and the winery, so between those two jobs, the guy's running 1,000 miles an hour. So John, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's gonna be fun.
So how did harvest go?
This harvest was a pleasant surprise, off to a less than ideal start.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a wet winter, and then on April 13th we woke up to a serious frost, which caused significant damage. It was site specific. Our vineyard was pretty well spared.
Yeah.
But waiting for the secondary buds, and then we knowing that everything would have been was going to be pushed back into October.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, you're thinking, well, this could be dicey, because you know how the weather gets. Could get in October, but we had a beautiful October.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful. You couldn't have asked for better weather. All through September, October, warm, no rain.
When did you start pulling grapes in?
My first pick, I think, was the very end of September, the 29th, Pinot Blanc.
Okay.
From Dundee. There were some things that kind of had to rush in.
Yeah.
Because, you start to see a little bit of botrytis or
Right.
whatnot, or some desiccation, but for the most part there was no emergency picks.
Good.
It was all came in at a great pace. I had a great team. We picked here at Olson mid-October.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was your last bunch that come in off the vines? Were you into November?
No, we were close though, really close. I want to say October 30th.
Yeah.
A friend of mine came in with, called me up. He's like, "You want a couple tons?" I said, "Boy, we just took all the equipment. We're starting to take the equipment apart."
Yeah.
I said, "But it's hard to say no." And then 2 tons turned into 6 tons, and then he showed up with 10 tons.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, that's the fastest I've ever processed fruit.
Is that
But
right?
the beauty of it was, it was beautiful. The fruit was immaculate. It really didn't need to be sorted.
Pinot?
Yeah, all Pinot from
Yeah.
the McMinnville AVA. So that was our last 10 tons, and it came in, and I'm so happy we got it, because it was really, really nice stuff. So
Yeah.
you're always looking for new fun stuff.
Yeah, no,
new toy to play with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you guys went through that, I mean, what excites you about the 22 harvest?
Well, the long hang time, the flavor development, the ripe. Everything was physiologically ripe, perfect. The balance, acidity. I mean, really,
pH,
it's all right. pH,
everything.
all that stuff was really on point. Minimal adjustments to be made.
Good.
I mean, the bricks were all a little higher than
Really?
average.
That's unusual for kind of what we've had the last 3 or 4 years. You've
But,
been able to play with the bricks a little bit, or not
Here
play
it's-
with them, but they're just, you got to kind of, you get what you get, and
Yeah.
then it's up to the magic of the winemaker to pull the best out. So-
Right. Well, and we started with great material, so little minor adjustments in the fermenter are no big deal. That's winemaking.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Here at Torii More, we keep the Pinot Noir below 14 if we can.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
just good kind of balances with our house style.
Yeah, no, I get you. So anything that you harvested that you're really excited to see what comes out on the other end?
Well, yeah, this year for the first time we've got Zenith Vineyard from the Eola Hills.
Oh, is that right?
And that vineyard's got a good pedigree, and a lot of other people have made wine from that, so I'm really curious to see how we fare in the group.
Yeah.
I'm going to taste a bunch of those wines here on April 1st with all the people who made wine from that vineyard. So I'm really excited to see how we fare there. I'm always excited to see how Olson turns out. It's such a unique property with the age of the vines and everything. We get such good material that I really don't play favorites. I mean, it's really exciting to
Yeah,
see how
no,
all of it
yeah.
comes out.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as a winemaker, to get that kind of product in,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
then
yeah.
you can really finish it off nicely instead
yeah.
of taking massive changes during fermentation or secondary fermentation.
I like it.
Yeah, well, I think the other thing is because you're processing vineyards other than your own grapes, that trying to get consistency and delivery from them, and then working with all of the individual vineyards to try and make sure that you're getting them cropped and you're kind of staying in touch and doing site visits and things like that. So you got to be all summer long just running around like a madman.
Oh, yeah. In September, I'm out in the field visiting every vineyard every other day, every third day at the most, pulling in samples, tasting.
Yeah.
You know, looking, walking the vineyard, making sure everything is looking good, you know, because things can flip up on an end in a day or two.
Yep.
So
Very quick, especially if you get rain.
I trust my growers. They know what I like or what we like here. But there's no substitute for putting your own eyes on it.
Right.
Jock taught me that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he used to take me and walk on the vineyard with him, and that's how I learned, walking next to him. And, you know, are the leaves proud? Are the clusters, you know, proud, or are they drooping? Is everything starting to shut down?
Right.
You know, what's the forecast? Are there pickers available?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of like little variables.
Well, and that's the key, right? Are the pickers
Oh,
available?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's, I know having owned a vineyard, my happiest day was when we harvested and it got put in the bins and on the truck.
Oh, yeah.
Because then it's yours.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I'm done. And the vineyard goes dormant and I get a vacation. But so the degree turned out good. I mean, is there a particular anything that you've got coming that you've just finished, you're letting age out, that you're excited about, that Matt's going to start selling here one of these days soon, or your club members are going to get to it?
Honestly, and it's like almost the same every time. I'm really excited about the Willamette Valley.
Yeah.
The 21 that just went in bottle, because it encompasses all the fermentations and all the vineyards.
Yeah.
So when that wine turns out good or exceptional, and in this case, that means I know all of it.
It's gonna turn out
really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of those are still in barrel, you know, continuing to age. So I'm really, really happy with the profile on that wine. The whites are real nice. Like I said, this year, the Pinot Gris and the Pinot Blanc are on point. They're refreshing. They're bright. They're steely. They got a nice lift. I mean, they should. When the warm weather, when it stops snowing,
Yeah.
people will probably.
So we're cutting this video in on March 13th,
Yeah.
and we've had snow for like the last on and off for 2 weeks. So it's kind of pretty when it falls, and then it's a mess, and then you got to deal with that. But
Yeah, I know the vineyard's in a holding pattern.
yeah, no, it's not moving at all.
No, that's okay. It'll be.
We had a lot
it'll be
of
good.
water, which in the last 3 years we haven't had a lot of water. So you've got to farm the vineyard differently. So it'll be an interesting to see how the year unfolds. So I love the cycles, right? I love the cycle of the vineyard, the way that it just plays through from the January, February when you prune, pull, and tie to that first bud break. And traditionally we'd have bud break in about another 30 days, but I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I know.
So, and then it just goes, all the way through that process until you get into, late September, early October, when you're just praying for no frost, 75-degree days and 55-degree nights. It's like the perfect. But at the same time, you've got the cycle of the winery, right? And you've got different things being bottled, barrels being moved, new oak coming in, glass, cleaning things up, which is, in a winery, you're always cleaning something, right?
That's the big part. It's
It's
the most
keeping
important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, you are a master of, two disciplines, because I think growing grapes is one discipline, handling the vineyard, and then the winery is the other part. So
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm learning the vineyard as I go.
Oh, yeah, it's one of those things. If I can learn it, you got it down. The wine part, that takes a skill and an art and a craft. So
I've been around it enough where I've kind of learned by osmosis, and I have a great support system from the people that help me with the products that I need for the vineyard.
Yeah.
you know, and I'm out there walking, and hopefully nothing sneaks up on me.
Yeah.
You know, a little mildew or whatever.
It's
So,
a
you
little
know,
bit.
it
Try this a little
happens.
mildew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
It's
just
farming. That's one
farming.
thing. Yeah, it's farming. You know, you could do everything right, but
yeah.
one day, like 2020,
Yeah.
you know, your whole world could be flipped upside
Oh,
down.
yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time.
Oh, no,
and,
thank you for
sharing
having
a glass
me.
of wine.
Salute,
Appreciate
man.
it. Yeah,
It's a good
salute.
one.
Cheers,
Cheers.
everybody. I've known a lot of vineyard owners and winery guys in my little 10, 15 years of owning one. And we all came to owning a vineyard and a winery in a little bit different passion or path. Tell me a little bit about how'd you get hooked on buying a vineyard and starting a winery? Because I know you had a pretty good medical practice going for years.
Well, something I always wanted to do, so and I never thought I could, but it was always a dream, and I had a son who wanted to be a winemaker.
There you go.
And I was going to make it happen for him, and unfortunately he was killed in a car wreck. He was 21, and shouldn't have happened, but it did, and I felt very strong that I needed to finish his dream.
Well, you've done a wonderful job.
So,
Yeah, good for you.
so that's what it's about.
So you've married Japanese culture, Torii More, which is gate to the earth,
Yeah.
with traditional French winemaking, very Burgundian in a style. Where did you get that, and how did you merge those two? Because it works, but nobody would have thought about those two separate cultures from two different continents and putting them together.
I got lucky once, and I won a fellowship to go any place in the world. And,
Really?
And I went to France, and I was in Paris, and I rented an apartment from a couple. He was a mime, worked for Marcel Marceau,
Really?
and his wife was Japanese. So I guess I had a Japanese connection right off the bat. That was French. So the opportunity of working with the Japanese has been for me a wonderful experience. So,
Good. Well, you've been able to blend both of them together, and it works out just really well.
I believe in the character and of the people, and I believe in the culture the way it is. And so this venue's been here a long time.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me.
It celebrated 50 years last year.
That's amazing.
And this winery that I started celebrates in June is 30 years.
Okay.
It's been around a while.
You gonna do anything special for celebration?
Get up in the morning.
I hear you there. I hear you there.
I get a kick out of seeing things grow, and I don't know a better place in the world where they grow better than right here. So,
No, Dundee Hills.
if I can sit and sample some good Pinot Noir, and why change? And
Yeah.
that's one of the questions I asked when I was in France. Why is it the wine tastes different than another wine made from a different vineyard 35 feet away?
Right.
And the answer was terroir, and from a Frenchman it usually came out sounding a little bit more aggressive. But I finally figured out what terroir meant, and I created another name for it, and that's Torii More.
Yeah.
Gate to the earth.
Gate
That's
to the
why.
earth.
So it's terroir.
Very good.
And wine comes from the vineyard, and it depends upon what happens in the vineyard, and so every year is different. And
Yeah.
wine's alive, even in the glass it's alive, and it's kind of a fun thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks. Cheers.
There you go. Cheers.
Salute.